Now when I spit it so you get it. The rhymes be simplistic, still the verses prolific. Astonished with my words, the intelligence not a gimmick. The flow is dummy proof, yet the dummies are trying to mimic. My 16 sweeter than March, and when I kick it, the madness flow all through the bars just like a prison. Me and my boys here, we putting on a clinic. Rap and podcast both to be specific. We out of your league like racing Lambos in a Civic. We so terrific, gotta admit the kids are gifted. We're destined to win like our success is monolithic. Now it's time for 48 to begin, so let's get with it.
Adam thinks he's an engineer.
Trust me, I don't think I'm an engineer. And
Good, because you're not.
proof is in the pie, I'm not an engineer.
What the fuck does that mean? What does the proof in the pie mean?
I don't know. It's just been a saying, and I've used it. And
Like, you the proof in the pie, motherfucker.
the proof is in the pie.
That makes absolutely no sense for a saying. Do you think I should turn this fan off?
Maybe like that started
Do you
from
think,
like,
you think I should turn the fan off?
I don't know, we talked about it before. I think it's fine.
I just don't want to have that the flickering in the camera if it is. I mean, we could turn it off. We could just deal with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Turn it off?
Yeah, I guess. It's not bad in here anyway.
That's not too bad. We just got people out there, but I don't think we're picking up that sound.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think where a proof is in the pie came from is like some criminal. I'm sure it has some criminal history.
Like somebody brought
Like
a
they
pie to jail. Can we talk about how funny that shit is? Like, how is that an actual plan? All right, listen,
worked for
I'm
a
in
while.
jail, right? I'm in jail. So I hit my woman up, right? Like, look, yo, I need you to bake me one of them whack-ass cakes you bake, but put a file inside of it, right? And with that file, I want you to, like, bake it in a way that they wouldn't look in the cake.
Yeah.
Why would they not look in the cake?
Well, think about it. It was innovative probably when it first started. Like,
So law enforcement was just mad dumb?
yeah, probably.
Do you think that like police and all that are like how they depicted them back in the day, like real just remedial and like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm
not
sure-
that police are remedial, but
Sure,
they
there are their cases.
like the Barney Fives of the world. Like, come on, man, that was like you're doing what I did last week. That's why I'm holding it like this. I noticed I was fucking with the mic stand way too much.
I think that'll be the case. Let me just take this thing out of here.
Proof is in the pudding, honey. That sounds like some shit that you would hear from your grandmother. And then like you always thought like, oh
wait,
man,
this pudding?
like that's all I thought. Like, what the fuck do you mean, grandma? The proof is in the pudding. Like, that's another thing. Pudding, pie, like I've heard pudding before. I've never heard pie. What did you hear? Proof is in the pie.
I don't know, but there are pudding pies, so, and they're pretty fire. So I don't.
Pie or
see
cake?
the issue with it. Pie. Well, I like both.
You'd rather pie over cake?
No.
You answered that quick.
Both. I fuck with both of them. is what I'm
No,
saying.
what's better?
Yeah, cake for sure.
Cake is much better, right?
Cake is much better.
Pie's cool, but like
It depends. There's
I
certain
feel like
pies.
pie is like a specific occasion of like type of thing.
I'm also picky with my cake though. Not picky, but there's a lot. There's certain ones that I won't eat. You know, so it depends. Like I'll take certain pies probably over certain cakes.
As long as it don't got coconut, I feel like I might fuck with it. Anything with coconut is an automatic
No,
hard
I'll go ahead and
pass.
tell you the other one is carrot cake. I'm sorry, I don't know how people.
I'll
like
eat carrot cake.
I don't fuck with it. I like the cream cheese frosting, but like
Carrot cake is
don't
usually
put any vegetables with my sugar.
the best thing about carrot cake is it's usually just not. It's not dry. Like, I'll fuck with it because if it was a dry cake and it was carrots, I'd be like, yo, fuck you, fuck
Yeah,
you.
I don't know. I can't do it. It's not me.
Can't do. I mean,
Not
that's
for me.
fine. I mean, listen, there's a lot of foods I can't do, but I'm willing to try most. Okay, here's my least favorite thing of all time: flan.
I don't like it either. Actually,
Flan is disgusting, dude. It's like a gelatin. It's a
Yeah.
gelatin that takes 45 minutes to make. Fuck flan.
and like it's kind of like.
Wait, does it take that long? Oh, that's souffle.
I have no idea.
And I've never had souffle.
I know flan resembles
wanted the souffle.
cheesecake, right?
I saw G souffle it, so I wanted the souffle. So I did the souffle, and then poof. Where's that from? Do you remember?
No.
Fresh Prince? Remember when he set the kitchen on fire?
Oh,
He's like, I saw G souffle, so I wanted the souffle. So he said, I did a little bit of a poof, and I got a poof, and then he's like, I put a little bit more in, and I got a bigger poof. And for those who grew up in the 90s, man, you know about Fresh Prince. That shit is, I'm sure somebody got that reference of our 114 subscribers.
Probably. And since we've addressed the people, I guess we might as well introduce the show now.
We could definitely do that.
So, Hello, everybody. My name is Adam. I'm your host, and this is the Kiona
Why are
and
you so
Kasson
formal with them?
Podcast.
Hello, everybody. What's up, motherfuckers?
I mean, you gotta break the people in. We already have a show.
They know who we are.
Usually
We're
ahead.
abrasive. This is how this works.
Anyway, episode 48 this week.
48? Oh, shit.
As you can see, we have Osama here, but no Dave this
Man down. Man down.
week. So shout out to Dave. Hopefully he feels
Yes,
better,
sir. Feel better, Dave. If you ain't playing hooky, then feel better, motherfucker.
But if you're playing hooky, yeah.
No, I'm sure he isn't. Dave, Dave wanted to be here for sure. He enjoys this just as much as we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just fucking around. We don't think you played hooky, but we do want a doctor's note.
We're gonna be absent for more than 3 days, please.
Right, you get 2 days, but if you're at that third day, you gotta have that doctor's note.
How did they come up with that?
That's arbitrary as fuck, man. Like, 3 days in, we're gonna want a doctor's
There are
note.
certain things,
Dude, I'd be sick for a week sometimes.
There's certain things you don't want me back in the office with.
Dude,
after 3 days.
they literally recommend if you're sick, don't come to work. But then they make it a thing that you have to come to work if you don't have a
you
doctor's
think
note.
I'm trying to take 5 days off? I don't have any PTO. Like,
How often when you get sick do you go to the doctor?
really just depends on the severity of the sickness.
I mean, like, for real. So, I don't know when. Usually, you just wait it out. Like, I don't know. I think men and women are maybe different in that regard. But I know.
No, I think it starts that way, and then the older you get, men are more inclined to go to the doctor and get checked out. Women do not like to go to the doctor. I don't understand why.
I know nothing about that. I know. Oh, well, that's true though, because Vivi is pretty hypochondriac. How do I refer to her as a hypochondriac in the way I was referring to her before this sentence when I referred to her as a hypochondriac?
I don't know.
I know that didn't make sense, but the first time I didn't know how to word it, and it didn't make. And I was trying to however you derive the word or make the word to form
So
into
you're saying
that.
she goes to the doctor for everything?
No, she doesn't.
So
she's scared of the doctor at the same time.
She's a hypochondriac.
Huh?
So she's a hypochondriac. I don't know what chondriac means. All I know is hypochondriac is when you're like go to the doctor for everything.
I thought hypochondriac is when you're sick. You're sick. I thought hypochondriac was when you were constantly worried about something. When you're getting like, if you feel like you get like a symptom or something, you automatically think you're dying, right? So the worst type of people are the people that check WebMD the second they get sick. And
WebMD
unfortunately,
always
that's my
gonna tell
baby
you-
girl, and I love her to death. But she definitely checks WebMD literally every time. Like
WebMD
you know
tells
it's going to
you for
tell you have
everything.
cancer.
They're gonna tell you you're probably dying, or you might just have to take a shit.
Dude, she's got like a hangnail. It's like, how do I get what causes of hangnail? Death. Oh shit!
They literally give you every range of the spectrum. They're like,
Gout.
you could have just like, tweaked something in your stomach,
No.
or you could be fucking vomiting and diarrhea, death in 2 days.
Very, very graphic, but true. But no, I thought hypochondriac was one who feels like once they get a symptom, they automatically bring it to the worst case scenario.
Should we stop sounding like the stupidest people potentially?
Yeah,
and
I'll
figure that out?
look it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
make sure.
No, I've never heard the term hyperchondriac before.
Well, hyper is like the opposite of hypo, so I just figured it's a thing. I could be wrong.
Hypochondriac. Okay. Hypochondriac is a person who is abnormally anxious about their health, right? So that I think that would mean that they are, once they do feel a symptom, it's to like I said, the worst case scenario. Instead of I have a cold, I have looming death.
Right. Yeah, but I think it's because those people have more of an inclination to just run to the doctor and figure out what's going on.
Okay, so hyper. I've never even heard that.
Is it a thing?
You're like super hyper about your
Like you don't care at all about your health.
What the fuck? It went to hypo again. Hyperchondriac.
Google doesn't cooperate with you sometimes. So, but yeah,
I don't think there's a thing called hyperchondriac. There's hypercholesterolemia.
I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I didn't make this word up.
You made that fucking word up, dude. I knew what the fuck I was talking about.
I didn't know if I was making it up. It's
Well, yeah.
Like, hypochondriac means that you are really nervous about your health. Everything that happens, you're freaking out. So I would think that the opposite of that is a hyperchondriac, one who does not give a fuck about their health and could care less
Why would
about
hypo
what's
and
in it.
hyper be opposites?
That's how it always works.
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Especially since that word doesn't exist.
Not hypochondriac in that sense, but I'm telling you.
Well, either way, that I forget why we were talking about hypochondriacs, but yeah. Do you even remember why we went to that?
I'd be lying to you if I said that I did. So
yeah, I wish we can go back, but we won't do that
just
either.
Move on.
Yeah. But no, I like that's always one of those things where like I think the first time I remember learning of that was like in a Boy Meets World episode where Corey, another throwback to the 90s if you remember that shit. Corey had they had moved into the dorms and Corey thought he was dying because he became a hypochondriac. And that's when I first, I think, really learned of the term or understood it more. Yeah. And then you tried to make me confused about it just now, but you're the dumbass, not me.
Excuse me. No.
You made up a word and tried to make me believe it existed.
Listen, I guarantee you, all you have to do is like start a movement for a word and it's in Webster next year.
What was the word that what's the newest?
Ginormous or something like that?
No, there was a real dumb word that just went out there.
That's a dumb word to put on there.
Ginormous? I mean, ginormous makes sense. I mean, sometimes like when you think
enormous settles that. You don't need ginormous. Like that's just people who are stupid.
Well, when people emphasize the fact that they want a large amount of money, people can say I want $1 billion or $1 trillion, but usually people say like a bazillion because that sounds like a lot more money than anything else anybody ever had.
And how many people have got that?
I mean, exactly,
but it's
that is a dumb saying. That is a dumb saying. I like that. You're such a dumb. Like that. Like that's a funny fucking way to talk to somebody. But like, don't be such a dumb.
It's like kind of demeaning in a way.
It is because you said dumb twice. It's like
it's true.
You said
two
dumb
times the dumb.
Right, like you're not. It's like you know how dudes started doing that. Oh, you dumb. Like you used to be
One
just
capital and lowercase.
You used to be dumb, but now you're dumb.
Dumb.
You's a dumb dummy. Oh man, you's a Jedi. We miss you, Dave.
Hey, you better watch this episode too, man.
You's an old Jedi ass motherfucker.
I hope y'all caught the line in last week's rap because.
Oh yeah, referring to the Jedis and how stupid they are.
How we don't mind tricks.
I want all the smoke with Jedis. What's up?
Well, and then
I'm not afraid of your fluorescent lights.
I also looked up what the opposite of a Jedi was, and it was a Sith. So,
no, the opposite of a Jedi. Oh well, I think they're
in the movie. You know,
no man, all that shit's stupid. The opposite of a Jedi is me.
You don't want to say that.
So motherfucking ill.
I
feel like... God damn it. Come on, bring it on. I don't even know who I'm talking to. Jedis don't even exist.
I feel like the picture,
let Dave debate it.
I feel like the picture that Dave paints about Jedis, you would never want to say that you're the opposite of a Jedi.
You would think Dave was like a Jedi in the movie. Like Dave was like of that culture. You think it's like that culture of like Dungeons and Dragons they had in that movie Role Models?
LARPing?
LARPing? It's a bunch of role play shit.
Because I said my enemies said are eternal resting place.
I mean, I know that they are acting, but I know that there are people out there who don't believe they're acting. It's like people who think that wrestling, although very real in its athleticism and whatnot, isn't scripted. No, wrestling's real, bro. The only unscripted wrestling you ever seen was Stone Cold. I'm sorry.
That's true. He said that.
You know,
and then it's just funny when you listen to him talk about like what he was saying on his way down the ring.
Motherfucker.
Like it was fuck every other word probably. He's like, that's just me hyping myself up, man.
You really got to think about the fact that he flipped us all off every time he got in the ring, all four corners.
Yes, but according to him, that was to give all the people in the audience a
photo op. Right? No, dude. I really want to start listening to his podcast because I think it would probably be really interesting.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Do you listen at all?
I listened to little snippets. Like I started watching a couple of them, and then they gave particular segments, and he has everything broken up into segments.
I'd like to hear some of his stories because he was around. Dude, seeing some of those pictures of Stone Cold with hair, dude, it's some of the greatest shit I've ever seen in my life.
The best thing that ever happened in his career was him losing his hair.
Oh, dude, he wouldn't have looked like. Dude, you can't look like Fabio and be a badass like that. Fabio wasn't a badass. Fabio made fucking "It's Not Butter" commercials.
He started off as
I can't believe it's not butter. Shut the fuck up, Fabio.
He started off as stunning Steve Austin.
So
he was like a male diva, you know. It's kind of like how Game started off as a stripper and then became a rapper, you know? Like Cardi B.
So his hair was so luxurious that he had to be like a fucking diva, and then when he started,
I would imagine like a Val Venus, you know. Hopefully you guys
Such a hilarious
were on
name.
game with those early 90s, mid 90s wrestling things.
Hell yeah.
If not, you missed out. You should go back and watch. They're all on YouTube.
No, Stone Cold would not have been as intimidating with long hair.
No, not at all. It's terrible.
Imagine he comes down off the ring, or he steps on the turnbuckle, and he flips his hair back, and then he flips us off. Like, get the fuck out of here!
This is Gold Dust mixed with Stone Cold.
He can't Stone Cold stun nobody because his hair gets caught and everything, and he rips it out because every time he tries to drop.
Dude, that's the one thing I never understood with like D-Generation X. You had fucking Triple H and Shawn Michaels. How do you have hair that long and wrestle? You fucking shits to your ass, like.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot, but it worked for them, right? It didn't work. It wouldn't have worked for Stone Cold. Stone Cold like was supposed to be like, I don't know. The skull looked like his head. You know what I mean? Like
he was like, take this X-ray and make it my belt.
Basically, so. No, that's some funny shit. Like he did that. Like if you think about it, the guy, I would like to meet the guy who threw the beers.
Yeah. He was on point, man. That guy always.
Dude, that guy had an arm, and it was just like lobbing,
and it was just always in his hand.
You know, you got to give Stone Cold the credit to be able to catch 2 beers in one hand.
Yeah, it's true. He had it down. He was like one right here, and then caught the other one on top.
What percentage of those beers do you think he drank after he like cheersed and then poured it down the side of his face and in his
gullet?
gullet?
Said he got a little buzz.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Of those occasions,
because he drank like 5 in a row, so that's like 3 beers probably he banged.
Well,
it
you
like
also just finished wrestling match, like your adrenaline is
going.
going.
You're dehydrated, so it affects you more.
Yeah, I'm sure he got quite a few buzzes, but
that's fucking dope, man.
Yeah.
That's why it made it so fucking off the cuff, because he was already buzzed and drinking by the time he got there.
Yeah, he's in the locker room.
I always like when they're like, he's been drinking all night. Like, dude, you gotta wrestle in an hour.
1 beer, 2 beers.
You don't want to drink with Stone Cold? You know what happens when you don't want to drink beer with Stone Cold, right? That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
That's the greatest like threat. If you don't drink this beer, I'm gonna fuck you up. But if you want to drink this beer with me, we could cheers like a motherfucking friend.
He's like, I'll still stun you afterwards, so it's not really gonna make a difference. So you might as well drink a beer.
Oh my god. Stone Cold played football before, right?
I don't know. I know The Rock did.
The Rock, yeah, that's a lot of that shit. Like, I don't know. Remember, they had that show when they first started, like doing social, reality television with wrestlers. Remember where you can make it? I forget what the name of it was called.
Yeah,
but they did it where it was basically tryouts, and I forget.
Tough Enough or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That was pretty cool. I remember I wrestled in high school.
I remember that too.
I wrestled freshman year of high school, and I didn't wrestle. I didn't do much wrestling once we started wrestling other guys, but I did a lot of the conditioning. And let me tell you, that conditioning is some of the most grueling shit I've ever been through. I don't think many, like maybe football players, but like, because wrestlers have to make weight, so they got to be really on point. And like
conditioning, I'm fine with. The reason why you would never catch me wrestling, I'm not going to be in a spandex fucking onesie.
The singlet?
Yeah, fuck that bullshit.
Dude, my dick all out and shit. Like,
it looks like the most uncomfortable thing.
Dude, the proof is in the pudding. Because if you ever watch, there's this video of a combine. This fucking big motherfucker was running the 40. And he like, as he was running, his dick popped out the singlet, right?
Oh, hell
so
no.
he fell on the ground, so his dick at the end, so his dick wouldn't show. But it was, dude, like if you that shit just came out. It was like, well, bam, like dead in the middle of this 40, and this dude's probably like 6'6", fucking 300 pounds, fucking working with a monster, dude.
He had a fucking wardrobe malfunction running his 40.
Dude, those singlets are hilarious. I remember when I first seen it, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this pajamas and shit? Like, underwear? Like, with suspenders? What the fuck do you want me to wear this for? Like, I got to roll on around with another dude's dick all out, too? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I respect the wrestling, and I think it's like, dude, they got to be super skilled, and there's a lot of strength and strategy. Just like anything else, you got to respect it. But
yeah,
No. I was like, wait, we don't do like pedigrees and DDTs? Like, what is this shit? Why haven't you taught me how to Stone Cold stun anybody yet? Isn't that's gonna be the finisher? What are you doing?
Let's talk about how
like, dude, get up so I can give you the finisher.
Talk about how stupid some of those, like, okay, the people's elbow, right? He had like 5 minutes to swing his arm, bounce from one side of the ring to the other off of like a kick, like the stupidest shit.
And that elbow, really, let's be honest, was pretty pussy.
It didn't hurt people very much.
All he did was kick his leg out like in a real fancy fashion, and then drop his elbow down. But like,
I mean, I'm sure it would hurt a little bit, but like, it's not keeping me on the floor so you can pin me for 3 seconds.
so probably the most, yeah, right. Like, what the fuck? I would say probably the most realistically dangerous, even though all of them can have their dangers if you do them incorrectly. But the most dangerous, probably, man, Tombstone. I mean, you've seen what happened, like in the when pile drive, because that's like a derivation of that, right?
Yeah.
But and then maybe the power bomb.
Powerbomb, yeah.
The power bomb was
you right on your back. That's
dude. With momentum from like they toss you up and then slam your ass down. The way they got to fall like so flat on their back because this everything it becomes more equally distributed in like in terms of the impact.
Yeah,
dude. If you fall incorrect, fucking your whole shit up.
Yeah.
Wrestlers and the fact that wrestlers I just found out are 1099 employees, like where the independent contractors, they have no insurance, none of that.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. Can you imagine getting injured? Oh, sorry, bro.
And yeah, because they don't want to pay those premiums for these guys.
Hell no. I get it.
High.
I get it though. Why? There's no way. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like.
But all those people, like, especially in the Attitude Era, like that's where everything blew up. Like, not necessarily blew up because I mean, obviously, back in the day, wrestling was huge too to some degree. But you started filling out like crazy stadiums, and the amount of money they were bringing in was allowing them to do like huge revamping processes. And
it grew exponentially in the 90s, like 100%. Like, because before that, you had like the WCWs, and I think you had WWF, but it was like just very small scale, right?
Yeah.
Because they were competing. WCW used to be bigger than the WWF.
Yeah.
And I think once Vince McMahon came along, he was like such a fucking like extraordinary like marketing genius when it came to how to create that.
About that.
Oh, you got to give him 100% credit. He may be a fucking asshole in real life, but like his just like how we talked about how people hate on like the Kardashians, like yeah, they may be like who you don't like, but dude, you got to give them 100% credit on how they understood how to market themselves or use situations that people found to be negative to do positive, to make it a positive for themselves. And I don't, people don't really like Vince McMahon apparently outside of it, but he's made many people money, millions of people probably a lot of money, not millions, thousands. He's brought a lot of people's lives and changed them differently. I get it. It's not ideal in terms of a work situation, but opportunity is opportunity.
Well, that's why Stone Cold was as an antagonist worked so well.
Oh, it was so great. He was like the one that would challenge everything about Vince McMahon.
He didn't give a fuck about Vince McMahon. I was watching one the other day where he literally Stone Cold stunned everybody in the McMahon family one by one as they came down. The last one was Linda McMahon.
That's dope.
She was like, "Oh, well, why did you stun my husband Vince?" He's like, "He's a piece of trash." He was like, "Oh, but my son Shane." He's like, "Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Your son's a piece of trash." And then just
went down the line.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, those were the days, man. I definitely fuck with all that shit, but like when you look back, I can watch the stuff from back in the day. I can't watch it from now or the current wrestling shit because it just doesn't look the same. It's super manufactured and then all that. I'm not fucking with it really.
I'm sure everybody from our age range, probably growing up watching that did the same thing. But I just remember constantly doing these moves.
Oh, dude.
Each other.
Yeah, that was dude dangerous. We could have killed each other for sure. If you think about like the shit that we would mimic when we were children, like dude. We'd
be like in the backyard fucking doing an entrance theme songs.
Dude, like the pool was the greatest place because you would attempt all the moves on each other and like you think about like back in the day like how little security people thought of, right? Like think about it only just became a law to wear your seatbelt like in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Before then, it was literally you didn't have to wear them at all. I remember when they first started giving seatbelt tickets. I got a seatbelt ticket. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I gotta say things ran a little bit more smoothly before they started being secure about it.
Before everything became so like,
Yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Stupid.
Monitored, like everything was regulated and shit. People smoked people smoked in planes. People smoked in Old Country Buffet or at other restaurants too. But the best part about it was there was a smoking and non-smoking section, right? Like that little cloth divider was gonna make a difference.
Stupidest fucking thing I've ever. Smoking or non-smoking? Non-smoking, please. Okay, we'll sit you right here next to this wall over.
Right, like it would literally be this much distance between us, and you'd be puffing away.
Everything above here is open. It was the stupidest fucking thing of all time.
Fucking sitting in planes, fucking smoking cigarettes. Like, dude, this is a place in the sky that's flying freely. What are you doing? You're just gonna light up? Fucking people, dude.
Yeah.
You definitely would have been a plane smoker back in the day.
No, if I was gonna, no.
You fucking kidding me? If that
I don't smoke in my car anymore.
Yeah, but that's not your car. That's a plane. It's not your plane. You're just paying for that ticket.
Yeah, but
dude,
it's
the culture was to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like nobody thought of the idea of
place that like they would have a smoking and non-smoking section.
What?
Yeah,
right next to each other? No, I doubt it. But maybe
they have those.
That's probably true. But like,
they probably didn't, but they probably should have.
It was the culture because the truth commercials didn't start coming out. Like people weren't battling big tobacco, and if they were, it wasn't on a large scale.
Yeah.
So back then, people didn't think about the health effects of it, or that there were. People just saw it as like everybody smoked. Yeah. And that number's drastically shut down. That's why you got to stop too. But yeah, you should. Yeah. But I mean, dude, there's no way you would definitely be smoking in a what you looking at?
I don't know.
No, you definitely would smoke in a plane. You'd be that dick. Right? I'd be like, sir, can you not smoke next to me? It's not against the law, is it? Free country. Motherfucker, fuck you.
I wouldn't stand out as a dick who's smoking on a plane because everybody would be smoking on a plane.
Right. I guess that makes a sense too. Nobody would like look at you anyway because most people did it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, dude, as you got older, you just started smoking cigarettes. It was like rite of passage, it seemed like. That's fucking weird. Right?
Yeah.
Like rite of passage is, all right, now I can smoke tobacco. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Not something I should have picked up doing, but it is what it is.
No,
right now.
but you can give it up, man.
Yeah.
It's not hard, dude. I mean, I know it's hard, but it's like, what's hard? What's hard?
You just gotta
dude, all you gotta undo is like think about, okay, well, if I don't, the effects are terrible.
You have to want to do it. If you don't want to do it, and you're just like forcing yourself to quit,
you're just playing yourself. Yeah.
So
no, you gotta want to then. Then why don't you want to, motherfucker?
I like smoking.
Yeah, I get it. Whatever. To each his own. I ain't tripping.
Should we talk about something real?
Yeah, probably. I was just gonna get to that. What we got?
We had a little trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really know any major things that happened this week. I don't think too much did. I know there was some new music that came out.
Yeah.
Oh, NBA draft.
Oh, the draft happened. I want to say that I really enjoy. I didn't watch it because I just don't have I cut the ties of cable and all that.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I wouldn't watch the whole thing.
No, but I watched a lot of clips, and I want to say that this is one of my favorite drafts I've ever seen. Like, I know most guys are usually emotional during a draft and whatnot, but this one displayed such a different side of it.
Yeah.
Like the players were genuine and it just seemed really nice. Like I enjoyed it a lot. It seemed like a different atmosphere than usual to me.
That's
but
good,
I could be wrong.
It's not very many things that as time goes on the NBA gets better at.
Well, I will say the NBA is definitely getting better in terms of its progressive-ness. Right, compared to other leagues, especially, Adam Silver is definitely a champion he champions the players of the league. He's there for them. I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're very, when it comes to racial issues and things like that, they're on the side of the right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They stand on the side of right.
Well, they watch football and they don't want to be NFL.
Yeah, you don't want you see what's the demise of the NFL, but people are fucking short terms. People got the worst fucking memory.
Yeah.
That's the worst shit. Like, history is lost on people like a motherfucker. I hate that shit. Yeah. But, I was going to say that, they allow their coaches to be outspoken and their players to be outspoken and their marquee players to especially be, active in community and things like that. But the fact that, yeah, that pisses me off that the NFL is going to become... I think football is a great sport. I just can't fuck with the league.
Yeah, I don't know,
but that's not what we're talking about. I think that that's why I think the NBA is getting better, and it's I think some things are going to be a little bit whatever. Like he's talking about like a mid-season tournament or something, which might be cool, but that just adds to the element of maybe you might get injured for no reason, unless it's now become like a coveted thing, right? You want that championship trophy for whatever that thing is.
Which honestly, I mean, I think they should, dude. The stars should be the first ones lining up to participate in these big events.
Agreed.
The fact that LeBron has never been in a dunk contest is something that's always been like, the fuck, you know?
Yeah, I think he definitely should have back in the day. I mean, when you're young and he had the springs and like, I mean,
they probably asked him when he was like.
Oh, he probably was asked many years in a row, but you know, he never really decided to do that. That's fine, whatever. But the draft I did enjoy. I thought it was nice. I thought that the Bulls made some moves that I'm hoping become a little bit of some momentum for us to move forward.
Maybe. I mean, like I said, we have on paper a decent team, but the execution isn't there, and I think it's because the coaching is terrible.
I'm gonna give Boylan another year because he seemed to change the culture. I'll admit that he seemed to change the culture from what it was with fuck his dude's name, Hoiberg, that terrible fucking coach, man. Fuck that motherfucker, dude. He doesn't deserve to be in the NBA as a coach. He's a college coach, and that's fine, man. Some coaches just don't. Dude, some players don't translate from college to the league. Some coaches don't translate. Just because he played in the league for so many years doesn't mean that he's qualified to then coach in that league.
Well, that's the same thing with like college players to turning NBA. You know, like it doesn't always translate.
And that's what I'm saying. Like Zion, as much as there's heavy hype behind Zion, doesn't mean that is going to come to fruition.
I don't think he's going to be a buzz though.
No, I don't think so. I think he's going to be something. I just don't know how far it goes, and I mean he may develop. You know, I
think he will. I mean, he seems to have a good handle on the game, and it might be a bit of a wake up call for him that he can't be as dominant in the NBA now as he was. You got all the best players in the states, in the world at this point. Like,
right,
as you were saying, they became progressive, and they have people from all over the world in the NBA now.
Yeah, that helps. Like, I mean, there's so many. The talent pool is deep now, right? And it's not as hard to get into the league as it. I mean, it's hard. Don't get me wrong, but because of exposure, based on social media and all that, like that allows for a little bit more of an advantage and springboard to the league. You know,
even these like cable packages that they offer now, where you can get, unlimited streaming of all the college games. You can watch and like choose who your favorite players are, and you're paying more attention to it because you have more availability to it, and now like your favorite players are hyped up and you're voting for them in their things, and you're watching, and I don't know, it raises their stock.
Dude, we spoke about this before. I think like the idea that you can watch your favorite players on Instagram and their stories directly from their phone is something to be said about that. The idea that you can now build relationships based on, oh shit, I do that. Oh, I eat breakfast. You know what I mean? Like, they could be eating breakfast at the Four Seasons, but we're both eating breakfast.
And they'll interact with you a lot. Like if you're.
That's what I do. Like your point on Twitter, I really thought was pretty accurate, because they do seem to go back and forth. I don't do too much interaction. I just kind of follow and watch people's tweets. Yeah. But I noticed that even with you, you get some retweets, or you've interacted with a few different people, which is pretty cool, Yeah. And that wasn't a thing back in the day. So now that is, makes you more of a fan and more invested and more, whatever with them. And maybe vice versa, right? They feel maybe a little bit more pressure to perform because of the relationships they feel like they've built with their fans.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, honestly, if your dream and you're get to the NBA, you need to be focused on performing in the first place. So
yeah, I mean, you definitely have to do a lot of like, I don't know, it's the prep that it takes to get into the league. You have to be super dedicated. So that hasn't changed at all. I'm not saying that you can be lesser of a player. Although hype does mean something, right? Like the players like LeBron's. Like LeBron and his son, and D Wade and his son, and Shaq and his son, right? Like the name helps, but your skill has to be there too, because Michael Jordan's son never did anything, right? Like,
yeah, but then think about it. if you're a legacy player, right, you have all the resources that were available to your predecessor, right? So you still have access to these trainers, and you're probably working out with your dad.
Dude,
to a
having
degree.
your father as a fucking coach,
Yeah.
and their father was a championship player, and all these things.
Or he, maybe he was just a role player, but he worked with like some of the higher talent, and helped. Like it didn't translate to him, maybe because whatever the case was, he never made the superstar. But now you have all the tools that you need.
Right, dude. Like what he didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I like Del Curry, right? That's a perfect example. He was what he was, great player, but it is what it is. Steph now, huge.
Yeah, I mean, his dad was a good player, but like again, we don't know because social media wasn't around, so we don't know. We don't see as many clips as you will see of Clay and all these people because these motherfuckers everything they've done is recorded. Even when they go play, I just seen a clip of Chris Paul crossing over like 10-year-olds at a park.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious, dude. Exactly how I would be. I would cross, dude. I find it hilarious. Like they gotta learn eventually.
Hey, he's big mad though.
Nobody wants him.
Whatever turmoil is happening in Houston, I think first of all was caused by this year's playoffs, but also
Their lack of success.
Yeah,
I'd
I
agree.
think so. I don't know what it was, but something put a strain on Harden and Paul. So
Paul is already known to be kind of difficult to deal with.
yeah,
And I think that maybe because of the fact that he is, the president of the Players Union,
Yeah.
Players Association. Excuse me.
Well, I heard something like, Harden was like, he tries to coach me out on the floor type of thing, and he's just like, shut the fuck up, give me the ball.
Did you see that clip of him trying to dap him up and Harden slapping his fist away?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I
listen.
feel like he can be a bit of a diva too.
Who, Harden?
Yeah.
Most definitely. I think he when he left OKC, there was something that put a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, because he was the one they decided not to keep.
yeah, OKC should have kept all the motherfuckers, dude. They would have won championships for sure.
Yeah.
I think they win one or two. They would have been a really good team.
They should have had at least
It maybe
one by
would
now.
have changed the course of the Warriors' path.
Yeah, probably.
Because the Warriors probably wouldn't have been as successful because now with that trio, when you got Harden, Durant, and Westbrook, and you now are going against the Currys,
and they
the
had, like,
Draymonds.
Serge Ibaka
Oh, that team was stacked, dude.
Yeah.
That team was stacked. And now, I mean, can the Warriors withstand that now? Because that's a bigger team that does the same thing.
Yeah.
Although Harden maybe wouldn't have developed as much had he not gone on his own. Maybe he wouldn't have because he had to develop the leadership mentality instead of one of three.
This is true. But I mean, he's like, I put him in a category similar to Kobe Bryant, where the sharing the ball isn't your number one priority. You're trying to get the ball in the hoop.
Right.
like-
but that's why he has to be that way now. I think before then he wasn't that way.
I don't know. It was weird. I thought they would have had. I don't know. Like Carmelo, did he officially sign with the Rockets for a while? He did, right?
Yeah, he was with the Rockets for
I see no reason that
I forget how long, but
Chris
he got-
Paul and Harden couldn't.
because
make it
Melo isn't what Melo once was. I think Melo's done in the league, man. Melo is unofficially retired for sure. I'm calling it.
Yeah.
He just didn't declare it yet. Like Michael declared bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I declare bankruptcy. That's not nothing. But I yelled it still. That's not nothing, sir.
That you didn't get the job done.
Dude, The Office is such a great show. Like, I've tried to find ways to get people to watch it, right? Like, but okay, so Vivi will make the mistake of like, okay, this is a good episode, so she'll try to introduce it to somebody with just one arbitrary random episode in the middle of the series. And what I find is you can't, just like any other show, you got to build rapport, because if you jump into the middle of The Office, you're gonna be like, what the fuck, this racist, ignorant boss they got, like what do you got me watching? Fuck
Michael
this
Scott
show.
is definitely the worst human being.
Oh, 100%. But if you start from the beginning, you understand who he is almost from like the jump.
Yeah.
Because he introduces himself, and now you start to like understand the
He
characters.
had everybody put a different race on there.
Oh my god, dude, he's such a fucking asshole for that. He put I think he put on Kelly, he put Indian, and then I think he also put black on Stanley. Like, you're fucking such a dickhead, man. He's like, that was by mistake, or that wasn't on purpose, or whatever. No, like, that show is really good, and I think I would say it's underrated, but I don't believe so. I do think that there are a lot of people that kind of like me. I don't really watch a lot of shows that people like. Oh man, that's the shit. Like, wasn't a Game of Thrones guy, like, but that's because the topic of it and like the whole subject matter is not for me. But like, I think there's a lot of naysayers about The Office because there's so many yay sayers about The Office.
Yeah. It's the fucking counterculturists,
right? Which is fine, but like, I think that show really would. If everybody gave it a chance, everybody would love it.
Yeah,
it's just that fucking funny. The humor. I've never met somebody who said, "No, that Office isn't for me."
No. Although, have you tried watching the British version?
No, you?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's whack.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I like British accents. British accent. You sound like you're from London. I am from London.
I'm not a big Ricky Gervais fan.
Ricky Gervais is funny-ish.
Right? Funny-ish work.
Like, he's not always funny, but you can catch him with some good jokes and some decent humor once in a while. I'll say.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know.
Suppose.
Not a big.
I suppose.
Not a big fan of that. Opposite shout out to Glenn.
Yo, opposite shout out to Glenn.
You know, when was the last time I heard from him? Like 2 weeks ago or something like that.
I haven't heard from Glenn in a while.
I don't know.
Glenn's the type that'll text message you, yo, and then you won't get one back after you say what's up.
Yeah.
Like, dude, why are you texting me? I mean, it's cool. I'm glad I know you're alive.
I'm trying to see something. So real fast, just you guys go ahead and if you have Glenn's number, send him a text. Yo.
Opposite shout out to you.
Well, no.
Oh.
See, first of all, if he responds.
What if he just got mad text messages that were opposite shout outs?
See if he responds first, right? If he responds, then.
How many people do you think that subscribe with Snow Glenn?
I don't know. I would assume a decent amount, to be honest.
Really? I would assume very little.
I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of mutual.
Dude, of all the opposite shout outs of him to Glenn, like, people are probably like, dude, that guy sucks. I wouldn't want to be his friend.
You know how it is. If you've been following us, it's all love, but it's still always opposite shout out.
Dude, the weather's changing again. The weather machine, dude.
The weather sucks. I'm not done.
Dude, it's been like, I saw something the other day that said it's like, what is it? Spring? No. It was like fall in the morning, spring at 10 o'clock, summer at 2 p.m., and then by 6 o'clock it's winter again. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, for real. Like,
I don't mind it, though. These are great nights to sleep.
Although I'm sweaty a little bit today. I was going to say,
I mean, we don't have the fan on. The windows are closed. The lights are on.
That's true. Try to give you the best acoustic sound that we can. Maybe. Outside of the draft.
Ben.
Not a whole lot of Ben.
Ben's the man going to work. Dude, that was one of the funniest commercials of all time. They're not going to know what the fuck we're talking about. Unless you do know what we're talking about, in which case, shout out to you.
Listen, I got to assume that a lot of what we talk about, people understand it. But then, like, we go on.
There's a lot of things that go on, like our little brotherly, like, oh, no. We haven't done it as much as I thought we would on the podcast, though. I'll say that. Like, but I think because it's only us two right now, like, the back and forth is that just in a smaller sample size.
Yeah, the only reason why I'll say opposite shout out to Dave today is because I could have slept another hour. You know what I mean? Like,
word. I mean, I was up early anyway. I had like a few hours sleep, but fucking, what can you do, man? What else we got on this docket? What you got?
Not a whole lot of like news related things.
I know there was something. I just can't remember.
There probably was, but
there was something I wanted to talk about. Like, I wanted to go on a rant.
Trump decided to not bomb Iran.
Yeah, you got to think he's got some ulterior motives for that, but
I always do. He always does.
I mean, most people have ulterior motives.
This is true, but it's when it's the president of the United States, it's a little harder to swallow.
Yeah. Like, dude, why are you doing that?
Come on, man. Not cool.
No, not that. I want to play with a penis. Like, no, not that.
Touch her and touch a penis.
Family Guy's so fucking stupid, man.
Yeah, man.
Fuck. But yeah, I don't know. I thought there was more.
I know Kendrick Lamar had a birthday this week.
Kendrick Lamar had one. Oh, shout out to this was the 2-year passing a couple days ago of Prodigy. Shout out to P, man, the one you got your whole style from.
Yes, rest in
peace, sir. You know, gone too soon, like many. But you know, we miss your raps, we miss your presence in the culture. So much love to Prodigy and much love to Havoc, man. Fuck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, I love that Havoc still posts, you know, his brother's shit, you know, because that's fucking dope, man. There's love.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
I mean, they worked together for so long.
Oh, dude, they were children, man, like teens, fucking working together. So, for me, that says a lot. Like, I think the fact that he still does his thing. Yeah. Oh, did you hear that story about Andre 3000 in the airport playing the flute?
Yo. Andre, shut the fuck up.
no, man.
Trying to take a nap.
Like, hey, man.
Where's my flight to leave?
Can you imagine? I'm the black sheep. I'm the real black sheep. I'm the black sheep. I'm the real black sheep. No, like, I think that, and the girl said she thought it was him, and she went and asked him if it was him. That's really funny, man. But like, that just makes you see how he's such a normal person, but not normal at the same time, right? Because it's not normal to just be walking through the airport with a flute. But
any normal person would not be.
You wouldn't assume 3 Stacks is doing that.
No.
You would assume he would be in the studio making one great verse for the year and then going to sleep for the rest of the year.
Whatever the fuck he feels like now. Like, I'm just gonna go to the airport and play this flute. I don't have a flight to catch today, but
you think he's like a bear? He just makes a verse a year, like every 6 months, and goes and hibernates.
It's probably true. Yeah.
Fucking
honestly, the last few years of like featured verses that he came out with have been great.
Dude, he always kills features. I don't think he ever releases another album, unfortunately.
Probably not.
It would be nice.
Probably
I think that'd be great.
Unless they did like an Outkast reunion.
Well, I mean, don't they? Oh, they don't really fuck with each other right now, right?
I have no idea, to be honest. They have a complex relationship, man.
They do, because Andre can still rap, but he doesn't, and fucking Big Boy wants to rap, and he knows Andre can still rap, but he doesn't. So like, he's like, dude, I want to continue to rap. And then he made Sir Lucius Left Foot was Big Boy's album. Yeah. It wasn't too bad, man. But it's just like, this isn't Outkast. I mean, it's the Outkast derivative,
right? For
sure. But you know, at the same time,
yeah, it always sucks to see those dynamic duos have falling out. You know. But I mean, I don't know. I thought they like.
That's why the Prodigy Havoc thing was so dope.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Their ability to remain, you know, as good as they are with each other, or as good as they were. Yeah. You know.
For sure. Be consistent for so long. I will say Blood Money was a terrible project.
Blood Money wasn't great. I mean, there are most artists are going to have albums that you don't agree with, right? Yeah, but if that's what they wanted to make, or remember, there's artists that make albums just to like get out of label obligations, you know?
Do you think that lends any credence to like the Slaughterhouse breakup with Eminem being a problem?
Well, I mean, you've watched a lot of that Joe Budden podcast when he discussed it and everything, right?
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, Blood Money came out on G Unit Records, and Shady was the house for that.
I always chalked that up to like Mobb Deep kind of being at the tail end of like, but they weren't, right? They weren't. It was just they had lost a lot of buzz, and I think it was a last ditch. It was just like Gary Payton going to Miami, or Karl Malone going to the Lakers, right? Dennis Rodman being at the Lakers, Charles Barkley going to it was a last ditch attempt to find relevance again. Although later on, because of social media and all that, people found them again, right? As they rightfully so. They always had their fan base. Yeah. So I don't. Maybe there's something to that, but that Slaughterhouse thing, I always chalked it up to Eminem's incompetence as a artist developer.
So what I'm saying is, I don't think it's from an artist development standpoint, because they all had, like, Joel Ortiz, maybe the newest one out of all that.
Oh, I'm talking about, like, but we've discussed it. Who has Eminem cultivated? Or what artist has he cultivated to become a real fucking star?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Obi Trice had potential.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything with that. No. Look what 50 did with all of G Unit. Like, Lloyd Banks, Yayo, and Buck were fucking on top of the world.
I guess I would have to know how much involvement M had in the project.
Well,
because Blood Money, that was the only album they put out under G Unit Records.
I would assume that M didn't have much, but I want to look up who produced a lot of that, because I would say it probably was Havoc, but I feel like Eminem is the type that is wanting to put his stamp on something, even if it doesn't work, if it's forced.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's why, because, I mean, he definitely had a hand in their project somewhere. And, you know, he's a very creative... he wants the control as a creator.
Agreed. And that's what... didn't Joe say that? They made something, they'd send it, they'll not change this?
So that's what I'm wondering, like, is he toxic to the acts that he signs? Like, performing on your own and then developing talent around your roster is a little bit different, so...
I think that... I don't know, man. I honestly really feel like Eminem just doesn't... It's weird. He, as much as he's in the culture, I don't think he understands how to bring people, like, how to... I don't even know how I want to say this. I honestly, it's just his inability to cultivate talent or to bring talent out from somebody who already has it in them.
Yeah.
Right? Without feeling like he's taking away from himself. I do feel like he's a selfish artist.
Yeah.
We've talked about this plenty times.
Yeah, I would say so.
You know, but I want to try to see if I can find who produced Blood Money real quick.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would think that M would be somebody who's easy to work with. Like, Dre's been with him for so long. And then pretty much... Who was really signed to Shady back then who's still there now? Not very many people, right? Because... I mean, D12, they don't do anything anymore. They try to do, like, solo projects and shit, but I don't
D12 hasn't done anything in a very long time. Even Bizarre apologized to Joe Budden.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
He's trying to do some solo, like, jumping on features and shit.
Who, Bizarre?
Yeah.
I mean, good. I mean, go ahead, do your thing, man. I mean, I ain't do shit for you.
And then I would say Kaniva's working on something. He put it on Twitter. He has maybe a new project releasing soon.
So they had The Alchemist, Chad Beats, Dre, Exile, Fredwreck, Havoc, J.R. Rodham. So there's no Eminem anything anywhere near here. So he didn't do too much, it seems. And the executive producers are 50 and Sha Money. So I think that's there. So M didn't have any. So that's how that lends itself to my argument that it just is, it was not the right time for Mobb Deep to be exposed, even though 50 Cent's star was so high, it didn't help anything, right? So maybe it's that way. 50 did try, but maybe it's the same thing with, like, the Slaughterhouse to Eminem, right? But Eminem had no hand in Blood Money, but, like, the same correlation to the two, right? The star magnitude didn't translate over to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe that's what Eminem failed to realize. I think you allow Slaughterhouse to rap the way they want to rap and bring out the product they want to bring out, right? And then you just... Exactly. But all you have to do is magnify how it's heard or who it's heard from.
On a larger
scale for them. Yes, give me a platform to make it even larger, but don't fuck with the product itself, right? And he didn't understand that. He wanted his stamp on it. And I think where the quarrel or the conflict came from is that when he would bring it back, and I want this on there, Royce, Crook, too loyal to Eminem to debate that, right? And that fucked with the product, right? Joe saw that. Joel being such a neutral person, it seems, I think he was, like, you see, even till this day, he's very, did you see that Crooked Eye released Crook's Corner with Royce? I got to watch that. Maybe we should watch that after this and see what they're talking about. Yeah. But, I think that Eminem and his ability to forego his ego in order to develop artists, at the detriment of his development or whatever he's doing at that time, is very low. I don't think he has the ability to do that.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's what it is, like a player to a coach kind of thing. It doesn't always translate. His star power was great, and he broke a lot of barriers when he first came in. But being able to help develop other talent.
What did Joe say? But we didn't get your star power and its magnitude, right? Like, I mean, and that's in that way, like.
Well, that's the thing, because, I mean, you look at each of those individual artists, like Crook's been around for a long time. Fucking Royce has been around forever, So,
what did we just talk about? Like, sometimes coaches don't, because Hoiberg played in the league, doesn't mean he's able to coach in the league.
Right, exactly.
Right? So Eminem, just because he's a rapper for so long, doesn't mean he can be I don't know what am I looking for? Like, what's the word what I'm trying to find to
like concierge these guys?
Yeah, I mean, for lack of a better term, not that you're their servant, but like you're here to like you already are here. You're at this level.
Right. Slaughterhouse didn't need to sign to Shady.
Right.
So since they did, it was basically for you to take and elevate their star status. Like every one of them had a cult following already. Joe had a huge following.
The first album had a cult following.
First Slaughterhouse
Yeah.
mixtape that came out. Yeah, dude, that shit was nice. So I don't know what went wrong. It's unfortunate that it did because, I mean, if you look at these guys on paper, again, it's a strong team. You know?
Super strong. Like, and I mean, not even on paper, on wax. It's documented how dope of a team they were as a foursome, right?
Do you think maybe there was some jealousy involved in that with them?
With Eminem? Oh, I think I've discussed this. Eminem doesn't want these rappers who are fucking rapping their ass off, who can probably rap. Like, I will say that Joe can rap, is a better rapper than Eminem. Royce is probably a better rapper than most of Eminem's catalog, other than the first two albums. And I would say that Royce's development happened a little later without him. Right. And like Joel is not. Joel, once in a while, I would probably, if you show me a Joel verse and an M verse once in a while, it would probably go either way once in a while,
Yeah.
So he doesn't want these motherfuckers who are rapping around his ass, like, literally considered super lyrical when he was supposed to be considered super lyrical. Do you think maybe there's some jealousy?
I think there are multiple levels to this. Basically, like, number one, I feel like he wanted to get back to his Bad Meets Evil 2 thing with Royce, and Royce's time was taken up by Slaughterhouse, and he couldn't do it with both. And I think he wanted to put more energy into his music still, without putting more energy into other people's music. Like,
it's selfishness, dude. I'm telling you, it's selfishness. I believe he's a selfish artist, and people can disagree. I know there's a lot of Eminem stands, and we've spoken about this so much that we don't need to go much further.
Mad at us. Talk about him.
I know he told me, yo, bro, fuck out of here. Like, I'm sorry, that don't fly with me. Like, that's some selfish shit. Like, artist wise, his first two albums dope, but like afterwards, if you look at objectively with what he's tried to do with certain people, like he's 0 for 2. D12's first album was dope.
Yeah.
None of Slaughterhouse's first album on Shady was not.
Yeah.
And now there's a shelved album. So what the fuck? Like his track record, it speaks for itself. Proof's in the pudding or the pie or whatever fucking cake you want to put it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I don't know.
That's all I'm saying.
It's unfortunate.
Well, I know we've spoken about M's enough on this fucking podcast where like you would think we were stans, but no, not really. I just like to talk about like what I feel like in terms of like the music business's development and like certain people who are highly coveted that like people aren't objective about when they speak about them. Like that last album wasn't fucking good.
Yeah. They're like living on their hit in the past,
Yeah, I mean, like literally, like it's funny because we were talking about how history is lost on people, but sometimes it's selective to the point where it's not the present is lost.
Yeah.
Right. Like your view's so distorted because of what you remember them doing. Right.
Yeah. And that nostalgia power is huge. So it is what it is. Outside of that, did you listen to anything new that came out this week? No,
I listened to the Benny.
I
listened to the Game.
Yeah, not new album, new song.
I'm just looking at it right now. He freestyled over. He actually did freestyle over a few beats. Like yesterday, I think, and I forget what radio show. I'm gonna watch it later. No, I listened to some of the Benny.
Yeah, I listened to that too.
Did you hear the new Drake tracks? No, I didn't hear them either. We haven't done none of our fucking homework for music this week. I just been honestly like, what have I been listening to? I don't know. I just been kind of shuffling it and just fucking with the made for you section on Spotify. And let me tell you, Spotify, some of that shit ain't made for me, motherfucker. Like I'm like, yo, and now not even that. Like, can we talk up? Fucking. So I got beef with the Shark song. I don't know the song. Like, right, I don't even know the song, but I know the song, right? And the issue comes into play when my beautiful girlfriend and her beautiful nieces and nephews they allow them to play with their phones, which in itself is not something I'm fucking with. Like that, we don't do that around here. You ain't playing with my phone. But if they want to let them play with
playing on my phone.
Right. Like that ain't how that works. But if they want to allow them to play on their phone, that's fine. That's cool. It's your phone.
Right.
However, me and my girlfriend here, it's my Spotify account. I'm just gonna say it, right? Which is fine. I don't mind using it. Once in a while, there's y'all kick me off my Spotify. That's fine. But the problem comes into play when you start picking whack ass songs, right? Like Baby Shark, and now that's in my recommended. When I go to my fucking made for use, Baby Shark's in the middle of my like Mob Deep and like Nipsey Hussle moment. Like what the fuck?
Think of it as like a palate cleanser.
No, it's bullshit. Dude, I fucking hate it. Like, it's so cheery. It's so happy. Like, fuck that Baby Shark, dude.
Listen, but you see that shit? You see how stupid that song is and how mad it gets you when you hear it, but how it blew up everywhere? Just because... Fuck
that goddamn shark.
Because we don't like it doesn't mean we shouldn't create it. Proof is in the pudding.
So what, we're gonna create baby gorilla?
We're not gonna just steal their song. Like, listen,
why not?
The people who make like children's songs, they don't give a flying fuck about this music, but they know that's gonna attract.
I don't know, man. It takes a certain type of person to sing Baby Shark.
Everybody.
Was it a child?
Once you hear it.
I fucking hate that shit. But yeah, that's the problem with like those type of like the algorithms that are involved with these social media streaming things, whatever, like the Netflix of the world and all that. Because once somebody starts watching certain things, now these are in your recommendeds, and you're like, I didn't watch that.
Netflix is the worst at that. They're like, oh, because you watched this movie, here are some things that no, what the fuck? Like none of these things. First of all, you have like a 10% on Rotten Apples, like Rotten Tomatoes, whatever.
No, dude, there's so much fluffer on fucking Netflix. It's like, God damn, by the time I pick something, I don't even want to watch it. I'll just, that's later. Yeah. I think my Netflix sessions, if I'm not turning on like The Office, literally are me just chilling, looking what's on Netflix. Oh, that looks good. Next. Oh, I got to watch that later. Whoops. Yeah. Next. I never watch anything. I never watch a fucking thing. It's always I usually just always go to The Office.
I watched this movie the other day, mid '90s. It's a Jonah Hill.
That's on there.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
It's on Prime.
Oh, it's got pretty good reviews, right?
It's like a weird movie in a way.
It's coming of age.
The kid, yeah, pretty much. Like the kid's like 13, 14-year-old. The main character. He has an older brother. They're like a white family. His brother has Jordans and rap music all over his walls, or whatever. Like same shit. Pretty much everybody did back then. And then like he's feeling like a.
Not me. I got my first pair of Jordans in junior year of high school. Them bitches were half off.
Well,
anyway,
his older brother was. So he's like feeling like lost or undervalued in life, and he comes across these.
You're kids. Like 12. You only know your parents. What the fuck are you talking about?
So they're in California. He like makes friends with some skateboarding crew. They introduce him to a lifestyle of drugs and sex and what have you, and so yeah.
It's a comedy.
It's like
dramedy.
It's like a dramedy. It was a good way to sum that up.
Okay, is that a word? Is that a term? Did we just make that up?
Should that be the name of this episode? Fuck it. I was thinking about it's either proof in the pie.
It might be proof of pie, pudding, cake. I don't know. Okay.
Dramedy.
So snack packs, right?
Snack pack. You're the coolest.
You're the coolest. You could take the mucus queen. I want her.
She came too.
Nudie Magazine Day. Nudie Magazine Day.
Yeah, there are certain things that I quote from that movie all the time.
Dude, shampoo is better. No, conditioner is better.
What are you looking at, Swan?
He was like, actually, I got this shirt from Frank. See? And he lifted it, and Frank had his name on the inside. Such a good fucking movie, man.
Billy Madison, for those of you who are not quite on
Billy Madison pulling up in his fucking 78 or whatever Trans Am, fucking blasting rock and roll in the mid 90s when everybody was listening to fucking Hootie and the Blowfish and Sugar Ray.
I don't care what time period, that car was still dope.
He came in that fucking jean jacket and just stood against the car like, And then O'Doyle came by.
No, I will not have sex with you. Here to learn, people.
Here to learn. This fucking old delinquent motherfucker.
Adam Sandler, a crazy ass motherfucker.
I'll tumble for you. Oh man, now we're just getting goofy.
Yeah.
I think
For sure.
we've covered everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
Most things that didn't need to be covered either.
There's nothing, well, a lot.
Like me last night, dude. It was warm. I had the fucking windows open and the ceiling fan going. Man, talk about a great night. I almost fell asleep in 2 awkward ass positions before I actually made it to the pillow. Like I laid across the bed and it was like 5 minutes later. I was like, oh shit, I gotta get up.
It's gonna be a stiff back in the morning.
Oh man, hell yeah,
All right, so,
hell yes.
You know, you've heard enough of us this week. We haven't given you anything important.
Something's wrong with your medulla oblongata. And I know it's medulla oblongata, but that's how he said it in the movie.
And it's also a different movie.
What a boy. Why? All right, I'm fucking done.
Coach Klein.
Coach Klein says,
Shout out / opposite shout out to Dave.
word up. Feel better, homie.
Depending. And then opposite shout out to Glenn.
OSG.
Yeah. Be on the lookout for more.
Look out for those
Kiona and
shirts.
Kasson excitement. This has been episode 48. Sorry to waste your time.
You heard?
If you like, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Tell your people. Other than that, man, I'm your host, Adam, here with my brother, Osama. And for Stacks, who ran away to go lay down, I assume.
And our MIA homie, Dave.
Yes, right. For the representation of the man who would be sitting right here to the left of me.
Yes.
We will holler at y'all next week.
Later, y'all.